Good morning. Today we are going to take the second part of our second chapter, Windows of Knowledge. We all know that last class we have studied about the structure of I, different parts of I, what are the functions done by each part. We have studied in the previous class, is it? Then we have studied about the eye diseases through a video. Then we have studied how to rectify these eye diseases. All these things we have completed in the previous class. Today we are going to study about the next sense organ, that is ear. About the sense organ ear, what are the parts of the ear and what are the functions of ear. All these things today we are going to study. Okay, so we can see about the picture of the ear and we can go through each part. What is the function of each part, which are the parts we can see. So ear is divided into three sections, that is external ear, middle ear and the internal ear. So ear is divided into three sections: external ear, middle ear and the internal ear. External ear constitute of the parts, that is pinna and auditory canal, and tympanum is the circular thin membrane that separate the external ear from the middle ear. So once more I will tell you, that is our external ear consists of two parts, that is pinna and auditory canal, and tympanum is the membrane that it's a circular thin membrane that separate the external ear from the middle ear. And another thing is the sound waves that is passing through, that is collected by the pinna. It passes through the auditory canal. And this auditory canal consists of the earwax, and the hairs are small hairs are present inside this auditory canal. And for what purpose this earwax and the hairs are present inside the auditory canal? In order to prevent the entry of the dust particles into the ear, inside the ear, in order to prevent the entry of those dust particles inside the auditory canal, what is present, earwax and hairs are present. Then tympanum, about the tympanum, it's also known as the eardrum. So tympanum, the other name of the tympanum is eardrum, and it is a thin circular membrane that separate the external ear from the middle ear. So the parts of the external ear is pinna and the auditory canal. Pinna collects the sound waves and it moves the sound waves through the auditory canal and reaches the tympanum. When this sound waves reaches the tympanum will vibrate. Now, up to that, then we can see about the middle ear. Middle, what are the parts of the middle ear? You can see the middle ear, there are three small bones. And so if a question comes, not if a question comes for your exam, in your lifetime, whenever you hear a question, that is, which is the smallest bone in your body, that is the bones inside your ear. That is malleus, incus, stapes. These three constitute the ear ossicles. These are small bones, okay, inside our ear. Malleus, incus, stapes, and they are seen connected to our tympanum or eardrum. So malleus, incus, stapes connected to the internal ear with the help of, then next part is the internal ear, and they are connected. This malleus, incus, stapes is connected to the internal ear with the help of the oval window and round window. Oval window helps. It's also a membrane. It is not shown in this picture. So oval window is a membrane that is connected to the stapes, and it separates, this oval window separates the internal ear and the middle ear. Okay, then so about the middle ear, the parts is malleus, incus, stapes, and they are together told as the ear ossicles. And another part coming in the middle ear is the round window and the oval window. Round window helps in the movement of the fluid inside the cochlea. What is cochlea and all, I will explain to you. And round window, that's given. Round window helps in the movement of the fluid inside the cochlea. and the oval window is the connection, that is the thin membrane. I have already told you oval window is a thin membrane seen connected to the stapes, and that separate the middle ear and the internal ear. So there are the parts of the middle ear is malleus, incus, stapes, and round window and the oval window. Oval window, it's not shown in the picture. Round window helps in the movement of fluid inside the cochlea. Cochlea is a part of the internal ear. You can see in the picture, cochlea is the part of the internal ear. And the oval window, it's a membrane connected to the stapes, and this membrane separates the internal ear and the middle ear. And about the eustachian tube. Eustachian tube connect the middle ear to the pharynx. Pharynx means throat. Okay, so this middle ear is connected to our throat with the help of the eustachian tube. And the another function of eustachian tube is it protects the tympanum by balancing the pressure on either side of the tympanum. So what is the function of eustachian tube? The function of eustachian tube is that it protects the tympanum by balancing the pressure on either side of the tympanum. Then another thing is eustachian tube connects the middle ear to the pharynx, that is throat. Then about the internal ear. So we have discussed about the external ear and middle ear. What are the parts of the external ear? Pinna and auditory canal. Pinna collects the sound waves, and these sound waves pass through the auditory canal and it reaches the eardrum or tympanum. When the sound waves reaches the tympanum vibrates, and that vibration is transmitted to the ear ossicles, that is malleus, incus, stapes. When this ear ossicles vibrate, that vibration is transmitted to the internal ear through the oval window. I have told you what is oval window. It's not given in the picture, but the oval window is the membrane that is connected to the stapes, which helps in transmission of impulses from the middle ear to the internal ear. And it's also a separation that separates the middle ear and the internal ear. And the round window, it's help in the movement of the fluid inside the cochlea. Cochlea is a part of the internal ear. And then about the eustachian tube. Eustachian tube connect the middle ear to the throat or pharynx. Then eustachian tube also helps in maintaining the pressure in on the both part of the tympanum, and helps in maintaining the equilibrium and both part of the tympanum. So it helps as a protection for the tympanum, the eustachian tube. Then about the internal ear, you can see the internal ear, cochlea, semicircular canals, then vestibular nerve, cochlear nerve or auditory nerve. All these are present in the internal ear. And about cochlea, cochlea is a snail-like, and before that, about the internal ear is protected inside the bony case, and it is in the skull. Okay, so the internal ear is protected inside a bony case in the skull, and that bony case is known as bony labyrinth. And inside this bony labyrinth, what is also present? Membranous labyrinth is also present. And inside the membranous labyrinth, a fluid is present. It is called as the endolymph. So once more I will tell you, internal ear is protected inside a bony case in the skull. Okay, and this bony case is known as the bony labyrinth. And inside this bony labyrinth, membranous labyrinth is also present. And a fluid is present inside the membranous labyrinth, and it is known as the endolymph. And the fluid in between the bony labyrinth and membranous labyrinth is known as the perilymph. So don't get confused between these two names of the fluid. That is, the fluid inside the membranous labyrinth is called as the endolymph, and the fluid present in between the bony labyrinth and membranous labyrinth is known as the perilymph. And these are the two kinds of fluid, that is perilymph and the endolymph. Endolymph is the fluid present inside the membranous labyrinth, and the fluid in between the bony labyrinth and the membranous labyrinth is the perilymph. These are the two types of fluid. Then about the cochlea. Cochlea is a snail-like coiled structure, and the cochlea consists of three chambers, that is upper chamber, middle chamber, and the lower chamber. And a membrane called the basilar membrane separate the cochlear chambers. Lower chamber and middle chamber is separated with the help of a basilar membrane. And on that basilar membrane, hairs are present, and the fluid also present inside this cochlea. Okay. Then about when this sound waves, I have told you sound waves, the pinna will connect the sound waves and it will pass through the auditory canal and it will vibrate the tympanum. When tympanum get vibrates, it will pass to the middle ear, that is malleus incuscatus get vibrated, and that vibration is passed through the oval window, it's not given here, through the oval window to the internal ear. And when this vibration reaches the internal ear, the fluid inside, with the help of round window, the fluid inside the cochlea also get a movement. When this movement reaches the cochlea, what happens? On the basilar membrane, I have told you hair cells are present. These hair cells get stimulated. And this hair cells, when these hair cells get stimulated, what is and these hair cells, sensory hair cells, are the receptors present inside the ear. When these receptors get stimulated, what happens? An impulse is formed there. That impulse is carried through the cochlear nerve. Cochlear nerve means the auditory nerve. Okay, through the auditory nerve to the cerebrum, and we are able to, and hearing is affected. We are able to hear what sound we have heard. Hearing, we are able to hear by this method. And our ear also have a function, that is body balancing. You can see vestibular nerve. Another function part of the internal ear is vestibule and semicircular canals. Vestibule is not given here. So semicircular canals and vestibule are the other two parts of our internal ear. And this vestibule and semicircular canal helps in the body balancing. How body balancing is happening? That is, by the movement of our head, the fluid inside, one fluid is present inside our vestibule and semicircular canal, that is endolymph. The fluid inside the endolymph, that is the fluid endolymph present inside the semicircular canal and the vestibule also have the movement when according to our head movement. When this fluid movement happens, what happens? The hair cells are present inside our semicircular canals and the vestibule. These hair cells get stimulated. When these hair cells get stimulated, an impulse or message is formed there. That message is transmitted to our cerebellum through the vestibular nerve. Why it is transmitted? It is transported to the cerebellum because we all know that we have studied about the parts of the brain. In that, cerebellum is the part of the brain that helps in body balancing or maintaining the equilibrium of the body. So through the vestibular nerve, the impulses that is formed inside the semicircular canal and vestibule reaches the cerebellum, and our body balancing is happened. Is it clear for you how the body balancing and how the hearing is affected? Is it clear? So in order to make it more clear for you, I will show you a video how the hearing is affected and the parts of the ear. By seeing the video, I think it will be more clear for you. Here you can see the structure of the ear.
Body is an amazing creation of nature, the study of which has never ceased to amaze everyone since the beginning of mankind. The beauty of the world around and the innumerable mysteries of the universe are understood, felt, and enjoyed by this very instrument of wonder. The 5 sense organs that account to much of our interactions with our surroundings are so sophisticated that each one of them deserves a better understanding. We now study the human ear. To decode the whole complicated behavior, we have broken down the ear into 3 broad parts, namely the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The outer ear. Physiology. The outer ear consists of two parts, the earlobe or pinna and the auditory canal. The cartilaginous visible outer portion of the ear is called the earlobe or the pinna. The cartilage gives the outer ear its typical flexibility. It helps us to gather sound and transports the sound to the inner parts of the ear. The outer ear continues down into the auditory canal. The dead end of the auditory canal is covered by the tympanic membrane, which marks the beginning of the middle ear. The middle ear. Physiology. The middle ear consists of the tympanum and a group of three very small bones, namely the malleus, the incus and the stapes. Functions of the middle ear. The tympanic membrane vibrates with sound waves. The malleus, which is in contact with the tympanum, receives these vibrations. The movement in turn rotates the neighboring bone, incus. The incus is attached to the stapes that receives the vibratory movement and transfers it to the oval window or the fenestra ovalis. An interesting fact to note is that due to the physical resemblances, the malleus is named as the hammer, the incus is called the anvil, and the stapes is called the stirrup. Remember these day-to-day objects and you will remember the middle ear. The middle ear is connected to the throat region through a tubular passage called eustachian canal. This keeps the air pressure on either sides of the eardrum equal. The inner ear. Physiology. The inner ear consists of membranous labyrinth surrounded by the bony labyrinth. The bony labyrinth consists of the vestibule, the semicircular canals, and the cochlea. The vestibule, a chamber in the center of the bony labyrinth, which communicates with both the cochlea and the semicircular canals. The oval and the round windows are both located in the lateral wall of the vestibule. The semicircular canals. The semicircular canals contain the semicircular ducts which have arisen from the utricle of the vestibular labyrinth. The cochlea. Cochlea forms a spiral which contains the cochlear nerve. Functions of the inner ear. The base plate of the stapes bone from the middle ear fits into the oval window of the bony labyrinth and sends pressure waves into the inner fluids. These pressure waves reach the sound receptor cells present in the organ of Corti. Receptor cells are connected to form the auditory nerve, which carries the sound impulse to the auditory center of the cerebrum, creating the recognition of sound. The pressure thus generated in the oval window reaches the end of the labyrinth and is relieved at the round window. Thus, the ears are not just auditory sense organs of the body, but have much to do with the overall balance and physical orientation of the body. So, next time when you get down from the merry-go-round and feel dizzy or off balance, you know whom to blame. Your ears.
So I think it's clear for you about the parts of the ear. Once more, I will tell you, this is the pinna. This is the pinna. This is the external ear part, and this pinna collects the sound waves and through the auditory canal. You have already seen in the picture and the video, auditory canal. And through the auditory canal, it reaches the tympanum, and the tympanum vibrates, and that vibration is sent to the incus, malleus incus stapes, that is ear ossicles in the middle ear, and they also get vibrated, and that vibration through the oval window, it reaches the internal ear, and the internal ear part, cochlea, helps in hearing. When this vibration reaches the internal ear, with the help of the round window, the fluid inside the internal ear also move, and the cochlea also movement happens, and when the movement for the fluid inside the cochlea happens, it stimulates the hair cells present on the basilar membrane inside the cochlea, and this hair cells is known as the auditory receptors. So inside the ear, which is the receptor, auditory receptor is the sensory hair cells, and when this sensory hair cells get stimulated on the hair cells present on the basilar membrane get stimulated, that impulse message is transmitted through the auditory nerve to the cerebrum, and the hearing is affected. And another thing is the sensory hair cells and the basilar membrane together constitute the organ of Corti, means the receptor, which helps in the hearing. Then next, how the able to body balancing, ear is helping in body balancing, and inside the internal ear there are two parts, namely semicircular canals and vestibule, helps in the maintaining the body balancing. With the movement of our head, the fluid inside, the fluid endolymph present inside the semicircular canals and vestibule will move, and the hair cells present in the semicircular canals and the vestibule get stimulated with the movement of the fluid inside the semicircular canals and the vestibule, the movement that helps in the movement of the, or stimulates the hair cells present in the vestibule and the semicircular canals. And when this hair cells get stimulated, an impulse is formed, and that impulse is transmitted to the vestibular nerve to the cerebellum. Here it is transmitted to cerebellum because cerebellum helps in the body balancing, and our body maintain the balancing of our body. Then now we are going to study about the receptors present on the tongue. On our tongue, inside our mouth, and on the tongue, chemoreceptors are present. Okay, inside the ear we have studied about the auditory receptor. Likewise, on the tongue and inside our mouth, chemoreceptors are present. And on the tongue you can see some projected structures known as papillae. On the papillae, taste buds are present, and this taste buds helps us to detect the different types of taste like sweet, sour, umami, etc. And when we are eating something that get mixed with the saliva, and this saliva will, when it get mixed with the saliva, the receptors, chemoreceptors get stimulated, and an impulse is formed, and and through a nerve, it is carried to the cerebrum, and we are able to detect the taste. Next, about the nose, how we are able to detect the smell, what is present, which receptor is present inside the nose. Inside our nose, olfactory receptors are present. So when an aromatic smell get diffused in the air, that air we are inhaling, and when it reaches our nose, that aromatic smell get dissolve in the mucus present in the nasal cavity, and when it gets dissolved in the mucus, it will stimulate the olfactory receptors, and a message is formed there. That impulse is carried to through the olfactory nerve to the cerebrum, and we are able to detect the smell. So the receptor present in the nose is olfactory receptors. And now we can see about the skin. About the skin, which are the receptors present in the skin. In the skin, there are 5 types of receptors to know about the pain, cold, touch, then pressure, temperature. These are the 5 receptors present on the skin. Then we can go through the which are the receptors present in different organisms. We can see the receptors present in the different organism, that is planaria. In the organism planaria, eye spot is present. Then in housefly, it is ommatidia. Ommatidia, what is ommatidia? That is formed of thousands of small eyes. The eye of an insect consists of a cluster of photoreceptors called the ommatidia. So ommatidia is the photoreceptor present inside the eye of the housefly. That is the receptor present in the housefly. Then in the shark, it is lateral line. There are receptors in the lateral line on either side of the body, which help to detect the change in the balance of body for the shark while swimming. And then highly sensitive olfactory receptors are also present for the shark. Whereas olfactory receptors present, it's present in the nose, is it? Then about the snake, it's a Jacobson organ. Jacobson organ, the aromatic particles that stick on the tongue of the snake reach the Jacobson organ seen on the roof of the mouth cavity. The olfactory receptors seen there get stimulated, and then what will happen when it gets stimulated? The impulse is formed and it will be sent to the brain, cerebrum of the snake, and it is able to detect about the smell or what substance it is. Is it clear for you? So all the receptors present in different organisms, everything it's clear. I think it's clear for you. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me in the WhatsApp about the structure of the ear and the receptors present in different sense organs and different organisms. I think it's clear for you. Our chapter is finished and notes will be given through the WhatsApp. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me through the WhatsApp. Thank you.